This guy's name is Saito. Suddenly, he met Akane. Akane immediately grabbed Saito's collar and said, "If you tell anyone that we are married, I will kill you." It turns out they were married. But she was the person Saito hated most in school. It turns out that 4 days ago, Akane scolded Saito because he had scribbled in the class record book. So, she couldn't report to the teacher. But Saito didn't think it was a big deal. Akane kept scolding him. Saito found her too annoying. Fortunately, Himari stepped in to mediate. She didn't understand why Akane was always scolding Saito. But even Akane didn't know why. And she just saw Saito as a cockroach. So, she only wanted to hit him. Suddenly, Shisei appeared. It turns out she was Saito's cousin. Shisei felt sorry for Saito because he was always being scolded by Akane. While Himari asked Akane, "Do you have feelings for Saito?" It shocked Akane. She immediately insisted that she would never choose a man like Saito. Saito also said he would never choose her. This made both of them angry. After school, Saito's grandfather called him. He said he would let Saito inherit the company. So, he ordered Saito to obey his commands. Suddenly, many bodyguards appeared around Saito, and his grandfather forced Saito to come meet him. Saito didn't understand where they were taking him. It turned out that Saito's grandfather was the chairman of a global technology corporation. And Saito's grandfather was a very intelligent man. At that moment, Saito arrived at Akane's grandmother's house. This surprised her. She didn't understand why Saito was there. But Saito also had no idea what was happening. So, they continued arguing. Akane kept scolding Saito, which made him very annoyed. Suddenly, their grandparents arrived. This surprised them. At that moment, they held a celebration party. Saito didn't understand what his grandfather was celebrating. But Saito and Akane continued to argue. This made their grandparents very happy, because they thought Saito and Akane were a great match. So, they declared that the two would get married. This shocked Saito and Akane. Even though they were still in school, they were already 18 years old. It turned out that Saito's grandfather and Akane's grandmother were former lovers. Because they always argued, their relationship became distant. So, Saito's grandfather decided on this marriage, to let Saito and Akane continue their love story. This shocked Akane. She didn't want her marriage to be arranged. So, Saito also refused, because they couldn't force someone to marry. Suddenly, Saito's grandfather prepared a poor dog. He said that if Saito refused, he would let the dog inherit the Hoju Corporation. This surprised Saito. Meanwhile, Akane's grandmother told her something. This confused both Saito and Akane. But they were given 3 days to think. At this moment, Akane scolded Saito because she never thought they would get married, while Saito had no idea what her grandmother had told her. At this moment, Akane was reminiscing. Saito was always ranked first in school, but she was only ranked second. This made Akane very frustrated with Saito. Then, Akane called Himari. She asked Himari what she would do if she were in an arranged marriage. Himari said she would refuse, because she already had someone she liked. This surprised Akane, because she didn't know who Himari secretly loved. And Himari told Akane that getting married would save her a lot on food expenses. But Akane was worried that marriage meant doing husband and wife things, and she would have to have children. This made Akane embarrassed. Meanwhile, Saito was feeling anxious. He didn't understand why it had to be Akane. So, Saito confided in Shisei, because he wanted to take over his grandfather's company. To fulfill his dream, Saito couldn't refuse his grandfather's arranged marriage. But Shisei said she would always be by his side and support him. The next morning, Saito went to school. Akane immediately ignored him. 3 days later, they finally made their decision. Unexpectedly, both of them agreed to get married. Akane said she was marrying Saito not because she liked him. Saito thought they would have the wedding after graduation. But his grandfather wanted them to have the wedding immediately. He even prepared a private house for them. This shocked Saito and Akane. They had also already registered their marriage. This made Akane feel hopeless. When Saito entered the house, he immediately locked the door. This made Akane worried. So, she scolded Saito, which left Saito feeling helpless. At that moment, Akane noticed the luxurious interior. This made her excited, but she preferred being alone rather than living with Saito. Suddenly, Akane realized there was only one bed. This made them both nervous. So, Saito immediately called his grandfather. It turned out his grandfather wanted them to sleep together, because they were already husband and wife. And he set a condition. They were required to sleep in the same bed. Saito thought there might be hidden cameras. Akane thought Saito would do that to her. This made her anxious. So, she was determined not to let Saito touch her. This left Saito feeling helpless. Then, Akane decided to clean up the room. She accidentally slipped and fell onto Saito. So, they started arguing again. Fortunately, Saito's grandfather had prepared food for them. Although Akane was very hungry, eating together was also a married couple's activity. So, she didn't want to eat with Saito. This made Saito feel helpless. So, Akane grabbed a slice of pizza and left. At this moment, Saito felt exhausted and lay down on the bed. Suddenly, Akane entered the room. This made both of them nervous. Saito could feel Akane's warmth and scent. But, he had to restrain himself. Akane had never dated anyone before. Saito didn't understand why she agreed to marry him. It turned out they both had their own dreams. Accidentally, Saito's hand touched Akane. This made her angry. Back to the present, Akane threatened to kill Saito if he told anyone about their relationship. But, Saito also didn't want anyone to know about it. So, they continued pretending as if nothing had happened. Suddenly, Himari saw Akane saying something to Saito. This made her curious. Meanwhile, Shisei smelled the scent of a girl's shampoo on Saito. This made her suspicious of Saito. Unexpectedly, she realized Saito had already married Akane, because she had always been investigating and following Saito. So, Saito pulled Shisei outside. She told Saito that he had bribed her, and she would help Saito keep the secret. But, she still hadn't figured out what Saito should do for her. When Saito returned to class, he was scolded by Akane, because he still hadn't cleaned the school supply room. So, they continued arguing. This made everyone at school think Saito and Akane were very close. They even gave Saito and Akane the nickname, husband and wife. This shocked Akane. When they returned home from school, Akane found that the fridge was full of juice. It turned out Saito's favorite drink was juice. And he had also prepared a lot of instant noodles. This shocked Akane, because he was eating too little protein. But, Saito had also prepared artificial protein to make protein smoothies and vegetable juice. This left Akane feeling helpless. She realized that Saito didn't know how to cook. So, she decided to teach him how to cook. Akane went into the kitchen. She thought Saito would praise her cooking. This made her feel excited. But, when Saito saw Akane's dish, it made him worried. Unexpectedly, Akane's food was very delicious. This made him think of his family. It turned out he had always eaten alone. Akane saw that Saito didn't compliment her food. This made her angry. So, she didn't want to let Saito eat anymore. In the end, Saito finished all of it. He felt like it was the first time he had eaten so much. The next morning, Akane woke Saito up. Suddenly, he hugged Akane. It turned out he thought Akane was Shisei. This made her angry. At that moment, Akane scolded Saito, because he refused to wash the dishes. But, Saito said he would wash them once the dishes reached the ceiling. This made Akane furious. After that, Akane continued to scold Saito for not cleaning up the trash. This made her unable to bear it anymore, because Saito was so lazy. But, they were forced to live together. At that moment, Saito felt they were completely opposite to each other. He didn't know if they could live together. In the evening, Saito was playing games to relieve stress. But, Akane scolded him, because she couldn't focus on studying. Akane saw Saito's zombie game, and it was too scary. This made her frightened. So, she didn't allow Saito to play games anymore. While they were arguing, suddenly, Akane let go of her hand, which caused Saito's game to break. This made him feel desperate. When Saito was about to take a shower to relieve the tension, suddenly, he found Akane lying in the bathtub. So, he tried to restrain himself and walked out. But, Saito realized something was strange about Akane. He thought Akane had fainted. So, he tried to wake Akane up. Unexpectedly, he fell. When Akane woke up, she thought Saito was trying to attack her. This made Akane embarrassed. So, she kicked him out. Suddenly, Akane realized that he had seen her body. This made her even angrier. At this moment, Akane was feeling embarrassed. She didn't think she would live in the same house as her enemy. But she realized that Saito was trying to save her at that time. So, Akane wanted to apologize to Saito. But she still couldn't bring herself to say it. The next morning, Himari saw Akane crying. Suddenly, she hugged Himari. Akane said she wanted to get closer to someone. Himari thought that person was Saito, which made Akane embarrassed and continuously deny it, because she always considered Saito her enemy. Himari advised Akane that she should first learn to respect that person. While Saito was talking to Shisei, he felt living with Akane was like hell, because they argued all the time. But he was determined to take the Hoju Corporation. So, he couldn't divorce Akane. Shisei told him to compromise with Akane, so that he could understand her better. And Shisei told Saito to carry him. When Saito got home, he saw Akane looking uncomfortable. Unexpectedly, she wanted to talk to Saito, so they could get along better. Thus, they started talking seriously to each other. Saito set some rules. Saito promised that he would wash the dishes every day. In return, she couldn't slap him. When they accidentally bumped into each other on the bed, Akane agreed, but Saito, who was playing a horror game, had to wear headphones, and he had to praise the food she cooked as delicious. Saito explained that when he said it was normal, it actually meant he was complimenting her. This surprised Akane. At this moment, Akane informed Himari that they had successfully made an agreement. When Saito entered the room, he saw Akane lying on the bed, hoping he would touch her. But Saito just said that touching would only happen by accident, which made Akane embarrassed. The next day, Saito gave Akane a cake, which surprised her, because he knew what she liked. Akane was very happy and thanked Saito. After that, she cooked some delicious dishes for Saito, and he praised her food as delicious. At this moment, Saito felt strange, because it was the first time he had actively complimented her. Afterward, Akane also wanted to help Saito wash the dishes, which made him feel that Akane was very cute. The next evening, Akane found a very interesting movie. So, she wanted Saito to watch the movie with her, which made her feel shy. It turned out to be a 24-hour movie about cats, which shocked Saito, because the movie was so long, while Akane was very excited. But Saito felt bored. So, Akane told him he could choose a movie to watch with her. However, Saito only liked playing games. But Akane had never played games before. Surprisingly, Saito kept losing to Akane, which made Akane very happy. Then, they went to sleep. Akane told Saito to call her by her name, which made both of them feel embarrassed. The next morning, Himari noticed that Akane and Saito were no longer arguing, which made her feel strange. So, Akane shyly ran away. At that time, Saito met Shisei. She discovered that Saito was reading a book on communication skills. It turned out that he wanted to improve his relationship with Akane. So, Saito started striking up conversations with Akane, and he invited Akane to go shopping with him. Akane thought Saito was asking her out, which made Saito confused and pulled her into the room, while Akane was still embarrassed. So, Saito said they were just going shopping, to help them feel less embarrassed. After school, Himari invited Akane to go home with her, and they would have strawberry shortcake together, which made Akane very excited. But Akane already had plans, so she quickly ran off. To prevent Himari from noticing her relationship with Saito, by accident, she bumped into Shisei. It turned out she was waiting for Akane there, and she asked Akane a series of dating questions, which made her feel embarrassed and run away. At that moment, Akane met Saito, so they went together to the store to buy things. When Saito picked eggs, Akane told him to check the price first, because Akane was very good at picking discounted ingredients. So, she helped Saito buy a lot of things. Suddenly, they saw chicken breast on a 50% discount. Thus, they both rushed in to buy it. But they failed. Unexpectedly, both of them felt very happy. Akane said that next time, she would definitely get it, and Saito would be the one to help her, which made Saito feel touched. At that moment, Saito thought Akane was very good at shopping, so she would definitely make a good wife, which made Akane feel embarrassed, because they were already married. That evening, Akane noticed Saito wanted to touch her, which made her worry. So, they continued to argue. It turned out that Saito thought Akane looked very cute while sleeping, so he planned to touch her cheek, which made Akane embarrassed. Unexpectedly, she agreed to let Saito touch her, making Saito also feel shy and unable to sleep. The next morning, Akane accidentally burnt the toast because she saw Saito was shirtless. At that moment, Akane was craving sweets, so Saito bought some for her. Suddenly, Himari appeared. She was surprised that Saito and Akane were going to school together, which made them feel embarrassed and try to explain. In the evening, Saito wanted to go to bed early, but Akane said that their class would have a test tomorrow. It turned out that he didn't need to study, because he had already listened in class, which made Akane angry, because she thought Saito was implying that she was dumb. Afterward, Saito brought midnight snacks to Akane, which made her delighted, but she didn't understand why Saito made the cake for her. When she tried it, Akane thought it was very delicious, which helped her regain her energy to study. The next morning, Akane fell because she had lacked sleep from studying so hard. It turned out that she was determined to get first place. But Himari said she wouldn't be able to beat Saito, which made Akane even more determined. In the evening, Saito continued to bring food to Akane, but he saw that she was very exhausted. It turned out that she was sick. So, Saito told Akane to rest and take care of herself. At that moment, Akane told Saito that her dream was to become a doctor, so she could heal the people she loved. However, her family couldn't afford to send her to medical school. So, if she married Saito, he would cover all of her tuition fees. Akane was jealous of Saito, because he didn't need to study. But he still scored the highest in the school. And that was also the reason Akane disliked Saito. However, she still admired him, which made Akane feel embarrassed. After Akane took the medicine, she still didn't feel better. So, Saito planned to call an ambulance. But Akane didn't want that, because she wanted to leave the ambulance for people who were more seriously ill. So, Saito decided to carry Akane to the hospital. He said, "I can't abandon my wife." And then Saito carried Akane and ran off. Saito was happy because he learned about Akane's dream. So, he believed Akane would achieve it, which made Akane feel happy. A week later, Akane woke Saito up. It turned out that last time Akane just had a cold. So, she recovered quickly. At that moment, Saito reminded her about what she said about admiring him, which made Akane feel embarrassed. He even recorded it on his phone. When Saito went to school, Himari admired Saito very much, because he always scored 100 points. Saito noticed that Himari was very close to him, which made him feel embarrassed. Luckily, she left. Unexpectedly, Akane became jealous. She said, "You're already married, so you can't get close to other girls," which surprised Saito, because lately, his wife had been very cute. The next morning, Akane continued to chase after Saito. It turned out he had forgotten his bento. So, she chased after him to give it to him. And Akane told Saito to finish the food she had prepared. At lunchtime, Shisei felt hungry. So, she wanted to eat Saito's bento. But Saito couldn't give her any food. Shisei said she wanted to taste the food his wife made. So, Saito covered Shisei's mouth. Unexpectedly, he got scolded by everyone, because he didn't share his food with Shisei. Suddenly, Himari noticed Saito and Akane's bentos looked exactly the same, which surprised everyone. So, they thought Akane was dating Saito, which shocked Saito and Akane. Everyone thought they looked like a married couple. Unexpectedly, Shisei had eaten all of Saito's bento, which made him feel helpless. It turned out she just wanted to help Saito not be suspected by everyone. At that moment, Saito met Himari. She asked if Akane had made food for Saito. Saito said it was just frozen food that looked the same, and he was sure he wasn't dating Akane, which made Himari feel reassured. So, Himari left. In the evening, Akane saw something outside the window, which scared her, but Saito didn't see anything. So, he continued to go to sleep, which made Akane worry and unable to sleep. She made Saito stay awake with her. Suddenly, she hugged Saito and told him not to go. So, Saito stayed awake with Akane. At that moment, he realized that Akane was very afraid of ghosts. She told Saito a story about how she once saw a ghost in the living room. So, Saito told her to take a picture of it with her phone. But Akane was afraid of being cursed. No matter how much Saito tried to convince her, Akane firmly refused to go back to the bedroom, which made Saito feel helpless. When he wanted to go to the bathroom, Akane also wanted to follow him. At that moment, Akane wanted to take a shower. So, she told Saito to go with her, which surprised him. But Akane kept begging, so he decided to go with her. Saito saw Akane in the bathroom, which made him have to think about history to control himself. The next morning, Shisei realized that Saito was having trouble with Akane, because she saw that Saito was exhausted. So, Shisei said she would be Saito's place to hide, and she would take care of him. So, Saito told Shisei everything. When Shisei found out that Akane was afraid of ghosts, she thought there really was a ghost at Saito's house. So, she decided to investigate it herself. At that moment, Shisei declared to Akane that she knew they were married and living together. So, Akane and Saito immediately dragged her into their private room, which made Akane angry, because she thought Saito had told Shisei. But, Shisei said that she had figured out on her own that they were married, and she thought their house really had a ghost, which made Akane worry. So, Shisei said she would have to go to their house to catch the ghost. At that moment, Shisei looked around the house and said it was haunted. Soon, they would be dragged down to hell, which shocked Akane and Saito. So, they brought Shisei inside the house. First, she checked Saito's study, because she thought Saito was reading inappropriate magazines there. Unexpectedly, she found Saito's underwear. When Shisei was about to sniff it, Saito quickly took the underwear back. After that, she continued to check their bedroom. Akane told her about the shadow she had seen. Suddenly, Shisei became silent. Saito said that Shisei was in brainstorming and calculating mode. Finally, she came to a conclusion. The ghost was actually Shisei, which surprised them. It turned out that a few days ago, Shisei had come here to spy on them, which made both of them angry, because Shisei didn't tell them sooner. At that moment, Shisei was hungry. So, she asked Akane to cook food for her as a reward, because she thought Akane's food was delicious, which made Akane happy. So, she immediately started cooking for Shisei, which made Shisei very happy, because Akane's food was really tasty. Saito saw food on Shisei's face, so he took it off, which made Akane jealous, because she felt they were too close to each other. After that, Saito and Shisei played games together, which made Akane very uncomfortable. She didn't know what their relationship was, so she got angry at Saito. When Saito was about to go take a shower, Shisei also wanted to shower with him, because they used to shower together often, which made Akane very angry. At that moment, Saito was getting ready to sleep, so Akane had time to talk to him privately. Akane also wanted Saito to teach her how to play the cat game, and she wanted to be the first to play before Shisei. After talking for a while, they started arguing again, but Akane felt more at ease, because she could express everything that was in her heart. At that moment, Akane didn't understand why Saito took such good care of Shisei. Suddenly, someone touched Akane's bottom, so she thought Saito had done it, which made them continue arguing. It turned out that it was Shisei who did it. Today, she wanted to sleep with them, because she had always been with Saito since they were little. So, she didn't want Akane to monopolize her cousin. In the end, Akane had no choice but to agree. Suddenly, Shisei asked Akane if she was jealous, because Saito always cared for Shisei. Although Akane continuously denied it, Shisei said that she wanted her cousin to live happily. So, Saito hugged Shisei to sleep again, which made Akane continue to be jealous. At that moment, Akane remembered. Back in middle school, Himari always tried to start conversations with her to invite Akane to hang out. But, Akane was always busy doing household chores and studying. Despite that, Himari kept trying to befriend Akane, because they both liked sweet food. They started to become closer to each other. At that moment, Himari asked, "Do you like Saito?" But Akane immediately denied it. So, Himari confessed to her that the person Himari liked was actually Saito, which surprised Akane. She didn't understand what Himari saw in Saito. It turned out that she realized Saito was always calm in handling any situation. So, Himari found Saito very cool, which made Akane remember the time when Saito carried her to the hospital. Himari said that she admired someone confident like Saito. Akane realized that Himari liked Saito a lot. Suddenly, Himari asked Akane to help her. So, Akane had no choice but to agree. And she realized that she didn't understand much about Saito. When Akane returned home, she began to learn more about Saito, which made him worried. Saito didn't know what his wife was doing. Even during meals, she would record Saito, which confused Saito about what she wanted to do. Suddenly, Akane asked what kind of girl Saito liked. But Saito didn't have a specific type of person he liked. She continued to ask about the food he liked, and Akane kept taking notes. The next morning, she told Himari that Saito liked steak, which made Himari very excited. So, Akane continued to share that Saito liked playing games and reading books in bed, which made Himari curious. She didn't understand how Akane knew about that, which made Akane nervous and find a way to explain. When they got home, Akane planned to cook fish for Saito, which surprised him, because the day before, he had said he liked steak. So, Akane decided she would take responsibility for Saito. After that, they went together to buy the ingredients, and Akane cooked steak for Saito. When he tasted it, Saito found it very delicious, which made Akane embarrassed. She thought he was like proposing to her. So, she decided she would cook more delicious dishes for Saito. The next morning, Himari asked Saito about the type of girl he liked. But Saito said he didn't have specific standards, because he thought understanding each other was enough. Suddenly, Himari asked, "What do you think of me?" But Saito didn't know how to answer, which made Himari embarrassed and leave. Shisei felt that Saito was excited, because she could smell Saito's masculinity, which made Saito helpless. At this point, Saito continued to play games. So, Akane secretly went into his study to investigate more. But she was discovered by Saito, which made her worried. She kept thinking Saito had figured out she was a spy for Himari. But he still didn't realize. So, Akane pretended to borrow a book. Saito happily gave her a lot of books. The next morning, Akane returned the books to Himari. But she couldn't understand any of them. So, she decided to ask Saito for an explanation. Akane saw Himari talking to Saito, which made her worried, while Saito was thanking Himari. Because whenever he and Akane argued, she was always the one to stop them. This made Himari very happy. So, she revealed that it was Akane who told her about Saito's favorite books. Turns out, back in elementary school, Akane helped Himari escape from bullies, which surprised Saito, because she was bullied just for having blonde hair. But Saito thought the hair color suited Himari very well. She felt that both Saito and Akane were very similar, because they both complemented her hair. Meanwhile, Akane had met Shisei. She realized that Akane was worried. Shisei said that Himari had always treated Saito like this, and she thought they were a perfect match. But Akane didn't oppose them. At this point, Himari thanked Akane, because she created the opportunity for her to talk to Saito. So, Himari decided to buy some sweets and bring them to Akane's house as thanks, which made Akane worried, because she couldn't let Himari come over. But Akane saw that Himari was sad. So, she reluctantly agreed. Afterward, Akane informed Saito, which shocked him. But their current situation was to hide everything related to Saito, so that Himari wouldn't find out. Unexpectedly, Himari arrived at the house, which made them anxious, because they hadn't had time to do anything yet. So, Saito quickly cleaned up and hid. At this point, Himari asked Akane, "Are you uncomfortable with me dating Saito?" Because Himari thought Akane also liked Saito. But Akane kept denying it, and she said it was fine if Himari dated Saito. By chance, Saito overheard everything, which made him heartbroken, because he thought Akane didn't like him. The next day, Himari confessed to Saito. So, he agreed, which made Himari very happy. Meanwhile, Akane and Shisei also heard it. Shisei knew Akane was lying to herself, because Shisei knew Akane wasn't happy about them dating. In the evening, Saito told Akane about dating Himari, and he wanted to ask for her opinion, because they were already married, which made Akane angry. She thought their marriage was just for her own dream. So, she didn't care who Saito was dating. Even so, she still felt very uncomfortable. The next morning, Saito started to go on the date. Suddenly, Akane hugged Saito and begged him not to go. Finally, Akane admitted her true feelings. She didn't want Saito to go with another girl, because he was her husband, which made Saito feel at ease. It turned out that he had previously rejected Himari, which shocked Akane, because she had been deceived. So, Saito invited Akane to go shopping with him. When she found out that Saito was planning to buy a ring, Akane was shocked, because it seemed too soon. The next morning, Himari was still normal with Saito. Even though she had been rejected, she said that she wouldn't give up, and she was determined to make Saito like her. Suddenly, Shisei arrived. She wouldn't let anyone take her cousin away, and Akane wouldn't give up either. The video ends here for today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to support Oni-chan in the next videos. Thank you for watching. Love you all.